Going into my season 2, what's some advice that you would give for me?
Season 2, I can't wait to work with you some more. The biggest advice I have for you is going to be how you shoot your layups. Period.
The basketball world just witnessed one of the most graceful podcast moments ever. WNBA legend Lisa Leslie appeared on Angel Reese's show and dropped some serious truth bombs that left everyone speechless, all while defending Caitlin Clark's influence on women's basketball. Leslie gave a masterclass in leadership that no one saw coming. When Reese asked her for advice on improving her game, Leslie's brutally honest response went viral almost instantly. In just a few powerful minutes, the Hall of Famer managed to completely shift the Clark-Reese narrative that's been dominating headlines for months. For a while now, fans have watched this unusual tension unfold in the WNBA. On one side stands Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenomenon shattering viewership records and drawing unprecedented attention to the league. On the other side are veterans and fellow rookies like Angel Reese, who seem uneasy, and at times even resistant, to all the spotlight Clark has been getting.
I'm curious if you think winning an NCAA championship is needed for that eventual GOAT conversation, greatest of all time status.
Absolutely not. I didn't win an NCAA championship. I was National Player of the Year. I won all of the individual awards, but sometimes, it's very hard to win a national championship.
The debate has been heating up, with fans fiercely taking sides, players tossing subtle shade on social media, and sports analysts only adding fuel to the fire with their endless hot takes. But then, Lisa Leslie, 4-time Olympic gold medalist, 2-time WNBA champion, and 3-time league MVP, stepped into the conversation, and suddenly, everyone had to pay attention. Let's start with what Leslie said about Caitlin Clark, because her defense of the rookie wasn't just supportive, it was a serious reality check for anyone still doubting Clark's influence on the game.
Stephen A. Smith had a very interesting discourse with Fee recently over the number of games the Fever have broadcasted this season compared to other teams who have also got stars on them. So I'm curious what you make of W's decision to lean into highlighting its stars, even if, they aren't the best.
I don't understand why it's such a big deal that Caitlin is getting so much attention, Leslie said candidly. She's earned it. She's helped elevate the game, just like many players before her. We're all benefiting from the impact she's had on women's basketball.
I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else. And I think Caitlin has said that even herself in certain interviews. And I love that. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. It's not. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that.
Those words from Lisa Leslie aren't just talk. They carry the weight of someone who literally helped build the WNBA from the ground up. Leslie was dunking in high school before it was even a trend, and she became one of the foundational faces of the league when it launched in 1997. So when she speaks about the WNBA's growth and business side, she's talking from unmatched experience. But Leslie didn't stop there. She went even deeper, pointing out something many critics have missed: Caitlin Clark's humility and respect for the pioneers who came before her. I love that she's not a player who makes everything about herself, Leslie said. She shows love and pays homage to those of us who paved the way. She shares the spotlight with her teammates, and she doesn't have to, Leslie noted. This simple observation cut straight through one of the most common criticisms aimed at Caitlin Clark, that she's overhyped and self-centered. Leslie pointed out that, in reality, Clark has been remarkably humble, consistently giving credit to the league's pioneers and showing appreciation for her teammates, even when the media keeps the spotlight firmly on her. Leslie also tackled the elephant in the room, the controversy over television coverage that's dominated WNBA discussions this season. When asked about Stephen A. Smith's remarks on the number of nationally televised Indiana Fever games compared to other teams with major stars, Leslie didn't mince words. It's all about money and marketing, and we can't ignore what Caitlin Clark has done for the women's game, she said. Have we ever seen teams move to larger arenas just to play against one team? No, we haven't. So if more people are watching, and Caitlin Clark is the reason for that, why should anyone feel upset that her team has more televised games? This is the business perspective that often gets lost amid all the emotion surrounding the debate. Leslie understands that in professional sports, visibility equals viability. The more eyes on the game, the more sponsors it attracts, the better the TV deals become, and ultimately, the stronger and more sustainable the league grows. But perhaps her most powerful point came when she reminded everyone about the collective benefit of individual success. "We have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat," Leslie said. "As more opportunities come our way, it opens doors for everyone else." That's the essential truth missing from much of today's WNBA conversation. Leslie's message is clear. This isn't a zero-sum game. Caitlin Clark's success doesn't take away from others. It helps create opportunities for everyone in the league. All of Leslie's support for Caitlin Clark would have been powerful on its own, but what made her comments truly remarkable was the context. She delivered this strong defense of Clark while sitting across from Angel Reese, widely seen as Clark's biggest rival. Then came the moment that sent social media into a frenzy. When Reese asked Leslie for advice heading into her second WNBA season, Leslie could have played it safe, offering generic encouragement or focusing solely on Reese's strengths. Instead, she looked Reese straight in the eye and gave her an unfiltered, brutally honest assessment. "Probably the biggest advice I have for you is about how you shoot your layups. Period. We're going to fix that, and it's fixable. That's probably the biggest thing. I think your outside shot is getting better. I love your ball handling, and your defense has really improved," Leslie added. Let that sink in. One of the greatest centers in basketball history just told Angel Reese, on Reese's own podcast, that she needs to work on her layups. Not complex post moves. Not three-point shooting. Layups, the most basic scoring skill in the game. What made that moment so powerful wasn't just the honesty, but the intent behind it. Leslie wasn't trying to embarrass Reese, settle scores, or take sides in the Clark-Reese rivalry. She was doing what true mentors do, spotting a fixable flaw and offering to help correct it. And the stats back her up. Reese has struggled to finish around the rim, shooting an underwhelming 39% from the field during her rookie season, a surprising number for a player who takes most of her shots near the basket. That's a serious concern. Reese's shooting numbers tell the story. She converted less than 50% of her attempts within 5 feet and just 13% from 5 to 9 feet. Those aren't just statistics, they represent potential career barriers for a player with a talent. And Leslie, who knows exactly what it takes to dominate the paint at the professional level, recognized that immediately. What's even more remarkable is that Reese didn't edit this critique out of the podcast. She easily could have. It was her show, her platform, but she chose to leave it in. That decision suggests that, beneath the social media persona and the public rivalry narrative, there's an athlete who truly wants to improve and understands the value of unfiltered feedback from a legend. Leslie even went a step further, suggesting that Reese's finishing struggles might not be purely physical but also mental. "I'm going to give Angel Reese real credit," Leslie said. "This is her podcast, and if she wanted to cut that part out, she could have." She then raised the possibility that Reese could be dealing with the yips, that dreaded psychological block that can affect even the most elite athletes. This wasn't just technical advice, it was an invitation to confront the mental side of performance, the part that's often harder to talk about than physical skills. But Leslie didn't leave Reese without guidance. She pointed to examples from the NBA, players like Dennis Rodman and Joakim Noah, stars who weren't celebrated for scoring, but who built legendary careers through rebounding, defense, and relentless energy. Leslie outlined a clear path forward for Reese. Lean into your strengths while working on your weaknesses. "I think she understands that my game is incomplete," Leslie explained. "I'm not bigger or stronger than everyone else anymore, so the things that worked in college, especially in high school, don't work here. I might as well be honest and authentic about it. I'm working on it." This moment went far beyond basketball advice. It became a blueprint for real leadership in women's sports. Leslie showed that supporting rising stars like Caitlin Clark and mentoring players like Angel Reese aren't opposing actions. In fact, they are both essential to growing the game. And when Leslie sees a young talent like Angel Reese, someone who could become even greater with targeted improvement, she doesn't hold back. The social media reaction to Leslie's comments has been fascinating. Many fans who had previously aligned themselves firmly with Team Clark or Team Reese found themselves nodding in agreement with Leslie's balanced perspective. Because here's the thing about truth, when it's delivered without agenda, even people who disagree tend to respect it. For Clark supporters, Leslie's defense felt like powerful validation, coming from one of the most respected figures in WNBA history. Here was a founding mother of the league essentially saying, yes, Clark is special, and yes, her impact is real. For Reese's fans, Leslie's critique might have been tougher to hear, but it came with something far more valuable, a pathway for growth. Leslie wasn't writing Reese off. She was investing in her future, pinpointing an area of her game that, if improved, could elevate her to an entirely new level. Beyond the Clark-Reese narrative, Leslie's comments revealed a larger truth about the WNBA today. The league is standing at a pivotal crossroads, experiencing record-breaking growth in viewership, surging social media engagement, and unprecedented mainstream attention. How its veterans, current stars, and rising rookies handle this moment will determine whether it becomes just a brief spike in popularity or the beginning of a sustainable new era for women's basketball. Leslie understands something fundamental that often gets lost in the noise of rivalry and reaction. The rise of one player doesn't threaten the rest, it lifts the entire game.